Poem The Inchcape Rock by Robert Southey. The life of the poet. Robert Southey was born in 1774. He was the friend of Coleridge and Wordsworth. He was among the Lake poets. Coleridge, Wordsworth, and Robert Southey belong to the elder Romantics, and they are called Lake poets. He was a poet laureate from 1813 to 1843, the year of his death, and after him William Wordsworth became the poet laureate. The poem Inscape Rock is a ballad, and the lake poets are the romantic poets, the poets of romantic period. The poem Inscape Rock deals with the battle between the good and evil, where the evildoer becomes a victim of his own cruel acts. Robert Southey wrote long poems like Thalaba, Madoc, Roderick, etc. and he died in 1843. Summary of the poem. There was a rock named Inscape in the depth of sea. The waves flowed over the rock without giving any sign or without making any sound to indicate their impact. The rock was a great threat for the sailors. The Abbot of Aberbrothok was concerned for the safety of the sailors at sea. He came to know the existence of dangerous rock. The sailor could not spot the rock during their voyage as it was under the water surface. Many ships were destroyed by colliding against the rock. The Abbot of Aberbrothok placed a bell on the Inscape Rock in a buoy in such a way that whenever there was a storm, the bell moved to and fro with the movement. Shipwrecks were prevented or averted, and the sailors were grateful to the abbot, who did a great contribution to them by placing the bell on the dangerous spot. Sir Ralph the Rover, a pirate, was jealous of the popularity of the abbot, and he felt pleasure by cutting the bell from the Inscape float. Once, after travelling much on the sea, while coming back, Sir Ralph was near the Inscape Rock. He faced a fierce storm at night at the sea. There was no bell at the Inscape Rock to warn him of the impending danger. The ship moved along the current and stuck to the Inscape Rock. Out of frustration, Sir Ralph the Rover tore his hair. In his great sorrow, he cursed none else but himself. The waves rushed in from all sides, and the ship started sinking beneath the high tide. While he was mortally afraid of death, the rover heard one frightful sound, as if with the Inscape bell the devil himself was ringing the death knell for the rover, and to make him realize, he who digs a pit for others falls into it. Critical appreciation of the poem. The poem first describes the dangerous situation created by the existence of the Inscape Rock, a perilous, dangerous rock for the mariners. In the second part, the poet has told about the noble act of abbot or monk who placed the bell on the buoy, and how the mariners feel safe and thankful to abbot. Then the turning point comes when the rover cut off the bell, saying, "The next who comes to the rock won't bless the abbot of Aberbrothok." The crime is followed by punishment because of the destiny of fate. The culprit himself is punished as his ship hit the rock and he drowned. Thus, the theme of the poem is a medieval theme of crime and punishment. Contrast in characters. The poem makes us aware about two characters who are in sharp contrast with each other. On the one hand, there is the abbot, a holy and noble man. On the other hand, Sir Ralph, cruel, jealous, and restless rover. The abbot did a noble deed by placing a bell on Inscape Rock to save the mariners, and got lots of appreciation. The rover felt jealous, got furious, and was not able to digest the appreciation of the priest. His bad will blinded him to realize that by cutting the bell he was digging a pit into which he himself was going to fall. As you sow, so you shall reap is rightly relevant in this poem. The role of fate. Rover's downfall shows the role of fate. Rover, whose heart was happy with wickedness, made him to do the bad deeds or mischief. The motive of his action was jealousy. Fate made him go back in the stormy weather he met to his doom due to his overconfidence and own misdeeds. Moral lesson. The poem has a moral lesson. It teaches us to be better people. The poem deals with the good against the bad. It makes us aware that the crime has its own punishment. In the poem, the rover cut off the bell with a view to vex the good abbot, and ironically he goes caught in his own trap of mischief. His heart filled with remorse and regret. One evening when the sun had been eclipsed by a storm at sea, he wanted to hear the Inscape bell. Then the vessel strikes the rock, and he pulled his hair in frustration and cursed himself.